I don't know why you're early. I would have liked to have talked to the Kevin that's right on time. At least I'm not talking to the Kevin tardy. that's the kind of humor you can look forward to throughout this demented little message, and I'm going to leave you. I really appreciate you asking for my advice. I'm humbled, actually. Thank you so much for saying that you're a fan of the 13th Floor. I had to explain it to my mother up until about last Tuesday. I think it finally clicked for her. Funny story about that. I'll tell you a funny story about 13th Floor. And I don't advise this, which is it's a story about a total lack of preparation. But I got the audition for that, and I really didn't have time to go over the script. So I went in cold, which I really don't like to do. I'm sure you know that by cold, I don't mean cold, like freezing cold. I mean cold, like I'm not a nice person. No, I went in not being very familiar with the material, so I kind of studied it in the hall while the guy before me went in, and I went in and I did whatever I did, and I went, well, that was that. And I got it. And I said, somewhere in the production, I asked Joseph, the guy who was directing it, why did you choose me? And he said, you did something that none of the other guys were doing. And I never told him it's because I had no idea what I was talking about or who I was at any given time, because I'm like 3 different people in the movie. And but that was okay, because in life I'm like 7. You asked about screenwriting, and it's interesting. I'm probably in more of the same position you are. I'm kind of a neophyte at it. I've always felt more like a writer than an actor. It's just the acting stuff kind of took off, and also it suits my lazy sensibility a little bit more. When you're an actor and you get a job, somebody picks you up in the morning, hands you coffee, and then tells you what to say and how to say it, and really all you're doing is getting photographed. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but it isn't writing. I can tell you that the writers that I know and that I respect, some of them quite successful, have the most common bit. I wouldn't call this advice, but it's a truth. It's something to prepare for. I think it's part of what is in the makeup, the basic makeup of a writer. And I think it's something that can be learned. I'm not one of these people who feels. I really don't even believe in talent. I believe you do something over and over and over again, and you get good at it. Nobody's born knowing how to play the guitar. You can be born without fingers, and you're going to have a lot of trouble with the banjo, certainly. But you can learn how to play the guitar. The secret is, I think, if you love it, if you genuinely love it. I love to perform, and that kind of crystallized. I'm 54 now. About 10 years ago, I had kind of a personal reckoning. I wasn't quite sure why I was doing it anymore. I didn't need to get up in front of people and go, hey, look at my face. It didn't appeal to me anymore for just that idea. I mean, everybody likes attention now and again, but it wasn't something that I felt I needed quite the same way. And I had to really decide that it was I hate people who say the work, but it was the actual job and the responsibility and also I realized I don't think I can keep doing it unless I start taking my writing more seriously, which meant discipline. And the discipline improved my acting, and it also, because I used to think, oh, I'll just be free, and like the 13th Floor, things just tend to happen, but that's an anomaly. Things don't just sort of happen. They do occasionally, but you don't want to count on that. You want to be prepared. What these people who write told me was the main thing that they had to reconcile themselves with was pain. You have to make friends with the emotional pain that you will absolutely go through of writing that first piece of shit draft and not pressing delete, not even going back, just forge on until the end. I've written 2 screenplays. I'm 54, I've written 2. And I'm working on a couple of other ones right now. I find it so hard to muscle my way through a problem, because the easiest thing in the world is to have, that feeling of rhapsody at Starbucks. If I could give you any advice, and again, I think I'm probably closer to your level, in that I'm really just starting to take my writing seriously for the first time in my life. Don't spend your chi, or as my friend, the great late Carrie Fisher once said, don't jerk off into a barrel. Don't spend too much time on Twitter, and don't talk about your ideas with your friends at Starbucks. Someone might steal your idea. That happens. I can tell you that absolutely happens. You think you know people, and your idea is precious. Hold on to it. And if you want to talk about it at Starbucks, then you want to write it. And that's what you do. Go home and write. And I don't know that anybody can teach you too much more. I mean, technique and things like that, but there are books for that. I don't know that screenwriting class is a great place. I know for the acting classes I've taken, some of them, not all of them, I had some very talented teachers. Some of them were taught by very bitter people who either didn't have the guts to go into acting or the talent to go into acting. You need to be very careful, and you really can't tell who's going to be teaching you. And sometimes teachers take it upon themselves to say, I suggest you go into retail because I don't see it. And that's your destiny, is whatever you want it to be. If you want something badly enough, that's your fate. And it's going to drag you through your life, and you're going to go through all the rooms you're supposed to go through. It's not going to be easy. And the best thing you can do is know it's not going to be easy. It's going to hurt. And if you get up and let's say you write every day at 11 o'clock till 12, an hour. And what if you just sit there for an hour and you stare at the paper and it hurts because you can't think of an idea, you can't move an idea forward. Just keep sitting there from 11 to 12. Something will come, and you are teaching your brain that at 11 o'clock we write. Maybe you're a morning person. I like to start a little bit later, have my coffee, exercise or play with my dog or something like that. And then at 11 o'clock, and if you can have a place to go, if you can get out of the house and do it, but that's not important. It's nice to go someplace that you associate with work. I don't like to do it in the bedroom. Woody Allen has written everything on his bed in longhand, so there are no rules. This message has been longer than I expect your first excellent screenplay to be. Write it. Write a piece of shit. Write something, but just keep pushing it forward. Don't stop. Be a bulldog. The people who don't make it are the people who let go. The people who don't make it are the people who let go. Good luck. I know you're going to be great.